In the first part of two demonstrations, we're going to look at packet capturing with Wireshark. Now what we're going to do is a very simple demonstration that will show you how Wireshark captures packets sent back and forth between two computers. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to look at a simple ping. Now as we know, ping is often used to troubleshoot computer network connections. A ping is basically an ICMP protocol request and reply. Now what we expect to see is a ping from one box to another, a series of requests and replies. Now we've got a network that we have set up, and it's a Windows XP Pro computer at 172.16.30.10 and a Windows Server 2003 computer, and that's at 172.16.30.1. Now this is a closed network. In other words, only these two boxes are on the network, and the only traffic we will see pass back and forth is between these two boxes. Now the scenario for this demonstration is that the XP box will ping the Server 2003 box, and we'll see what the traffic looks like. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, we're in our Windows Server 2003 box, and before we get started, the first thing we need to do is start our capture. So we're going to start Wireshark. Click Capture. We're going to select the interface we want to capture the traffic to and from. And that's the 30.1 here. We're going to start. Now, there's no traffic being passed yet because we haven't sent any traffic. Again, this is on a closed network, so we shouldn't expect to see traffic except between these two boxes. This is our XP box, and let's go ahead and start a ping to the server. Now we're going to send our ping packets. We're going to send 4 packets and we get 4 replies back. That's a typical ping for an XP box. Linux boxes and Unix boxes will send as many packets as necessary until you tell them to quit. But by default, a Windows box will only send 4. Let's go back to our Server 2003 computer and look at our packet capture and see what we got. Let's go ahead and stop our capture and let's scroll up to the top here and see what we get. Now, we've got some interesting traffic here at the top. This is an ARP request, and this ARP request is coming from the Windows XP box. What we've told it to do is ping the IP address of the server. Well, it doesn't know the IP address, so it will do what's called an ARP broadcast. It will say, hey, I need to know what the MAC address is for this IP address so I can start sending traffic. So it says, who has 172.16.30.1? Please tell me. Since the ARP broadcast out to the network, the server will reply back with an ARP reply, and it will say 172.16.30.1 is me, and I'm at this MAC address. Now, here's the ICMP traffic that we want to look at. What happens is once the ICMP traffic is sent, we'll get requests and replies back. The XP box sent 4 requests out, and you can see that the request is simply just a string of characters, the alphabet, and the reply back will come from the Server 2003 box, and it's essentially the same characters, again the alphabet. Now we can see that there's a lot of other interesting traffic going on here, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's look at the columns here so you can see kind of what we're looking at. The first column is the packet capture number, the second column is the time index, the third column is the source address, and the source address can be the IP address as we see here, or it can be the MAC address as we see here. The same thing with the destination. It can be the MAC address or it can be the IP address. The protocols in this column, and so far we've seen ARP and ICMP, and the info column basically just gives us information about the capture itself. Now there's other traffic going on down here, and some of that we'll talk about later on in the course, but there's NetBIOS, name resolution traffic, and so forth going on between the XP box and the Server 2003 box. And we'll take a look at some of this other traffic later to see what it looks like. That's essentially a simple packet capture using Wireshark of ICMP between an XP box and a Server 2003 box. Now, ICMP traffic by and large by itself is not a big deal. However, later on in the course we'll see that ICMP traffic can actually be used to cause damage to computers. It can be used for denial of service attacks. And we'll see how that works later on in the course.